Good morning, all of you. Today we will start our next topic, binomial distribution. It is a discrete distribution where the domain is a discrete random variable. As we have previously discussed that any distribution any distribution where the domain is a discrete type of distribution, then that is your discrete distribution. Now, binomial distribution. Suppose there are n independent trials in an experiment and let random variable x denote the number of success in n trials. It is given that there are n independent trials in an experiment and let a random variable x denote the number of success in n trials. So we are repeating an experiment n times. And suppose let p be the probability of success, q be the probability of failure. Then p plus q is equals to 1, that all of you know, that is your total probability is always 1. So the probability of R success in n trials, you are doing an experiment n times and you are calculating the probability of R success in n trials. That is the probability of the random variable x is equals to R. N, that is your probability of success, it is repeated r times, and failure repeated n minus r times, that is your NCR. It can be rearranged among themselves in NCR ways. So NCR into probability of success is P. So NCR into P up to r times, and Q into Q into n minus r times, which will give you NCR P to the power r, Q to the power n minus r. This is called your binomial distribution. Binomial distribution is applicable when the number of trial and the number of trial and the getting success are almost 50%. Probability of x is equals to r is equals to NCR p to the power r, q to the power n minus 1. This is your formula for binomial distribution. Now for x is equals to, and we consider this as a function, f of x is equals to probability of x is equals to x NCX p to the power x, q to the power n minus x, where these are the variables that you know, p, n, r. P is your probability of success, n is your number of trial, and r is your number of success in n trials. Now, as it is a binomial distribution is a discrete distribution that I have previously told you. Any discrete distribution must have a probability mass function, and it's the probability function f of x for this distribution. So this function must satisfy the criteria for probability mass function. What are the two criteria for probability mass function? First one is the functional value must be non-negative, that is f of x must be greater than or equals to 0, and second one is summation f of x must be 1. So first one is your f of x is greater than is equals to 0, and the second one is the total probability value must be is equals to 1. How? Suppose for any x value n greater than 0, p greater than 0, so NCR must be greater than 0, P is positive, Q is positive. So this value will be positive for any of the x value. So we can easily show that f of x is positive. Okay. And we can also know the binomial expansion. Q plus P to the power n is equals to Q to the power n, NC1 P to the power 1. This is the binomial expansion that all of you know previously in class 12. So when you take the summation, it will be in this form, and p plus q you know that is 1, so this will be total value 1. In this way we can show that it is a probability mass function whose total probability is 1, and for any x it is positive. Okay, now remember these two are two important formula for mean and variance. Mean is your n into p, mean is your mu, and mu is equals to n into p, where n is the number of trial and p is the probability of success. And variance is your sigma square, that is equals to npq. N is the number of trial, p is the success probability, q is the failure probability. Okay. Now we will discuss certain numericals. Let us compute the probability of obtaining at least 2 6 in rolling a fair dice 4 times. You are rolling a fair dice 4 times. Then what will be the probability of getting at least 2 6? So probability of getting 1 6 is your 1 by 6. So probability of success will be 1 by 6. Whenever you get a 6, it is your success. Whenever you get an other than 6, it is your failure. So chance of getting failure is your 5 by 6. And how many number of times the experiment is performed? You were rolling the dice 4 times. So the number of trial n is equals to 4. And how many number of times the success will appear? Twice or more than twice, because it is given that at least 2 6. So it may be 2 or more than 2. Okay, so probability of at least 2 6 is probability of exactly 2 6, maybe probability of getting 3 6, maybe probability of getting 4 6, but we cannot consider less than 2. Okay, so apply binomial distribution here. 4c2 NCR, p to the power r, q to the power n minus 1. That is 4c2, 1 by 6 to the power 2, 5 by 6 to the power 2. 1 by 6 is your probability of success probability, or 5 by 6 is your failure probability. Similarly, for probability of x is equals to 3, calculate the value. Probability of x is equals to 4, also calculate the value. And solve the combinations and find the answer. Okay. Now our next question is, the mean of a binomial distribution is 40 and sigma is equals to 6. Then calculate the value of n, p or q. It may be asked in different way also, that the mean and standard deviation are given to you. Calculate the number of trial, probability of success and probability of failure. It is given that mean is your mu, that all of you know, and mean is your mu is your np, that is equals to 40. This is given you. And standard deviation is your root over of npq, क्योंकि variance is your npq and variance, root over of the variance is your standard deviation. Standard deviation is given here 6. So root over of npq is equals to 6. Then npq is equals to 36. So you have np is equals to 40 and npq is equals to 36, from which we can easily calculate q value. Q is equals to 0.9. If the probability of failure is 0.9, then what will be the probability of success? 1 minus q, that is your 0.1. Now q and p are known to you and np is also known to you. Then we can easily calculate the n value. N is equals to 40 into p. So n is equals to 40 into 0.1. 40 into 0.1, that is your 400. Okay, so this is your probability of success, probability of failure and number of trial when the mean and standard deviation of a distribution is given to you, and it is also given that it follows the binomial distribution. Okay, now let us consider one more numerical. The incidence of occupational disease in an industry is such that the workers have a 20% chance of suffering from it. Then what is the probability that out of 6 workers, 4 will contract the disease? क्या given है यहाँ पे? Let us consider that the workers have a 20% chance of suffering an occupational disease. So the probability of getting the disease is your, out of 100 there are 20 people are suffering with this disease. So probability of getting the disease is your 1 by 5. and probability of not getting the disease is your 4 by 5. So probability of 4 or more will contract the disease. We are considering that 6 workers. We are considering 6 workers and 4 or more will contract. That means probability of the random variable greater than or equals to 4. That means out of 6 workers, either 4 are infected or 5 are infected or 6 are infected. In this way, now apply the binomial distribution and evaluate in this way and find the answer. Okay. Thank you all of you. We will discuss the next topic on the next video. Have a good day. Take care all of you.